What would your life look like if you stopped taking your confidence from what other people think about you and you started to find it from within? In a world that leaves us constantly seeking approval, relying on others for confidence can start to feel normal, but it is limiting. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I'm working my way towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty. This is my artist channel, which I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these chats about strategies and attributes that we can develop and implement in order to see to it that we're making our best effort towards whatever it is that we are trying to accomplish. Now, I don't know exactly what it is that you're doing, but when it comes to writing 100 songs and putting yourself out on a limb in order to do that, relying on your friends and family, maybe the people who are supporting you online, following along with whatever it is you're doing in order to help galvanize the gumption, so to speak. Sometimes whenever you step out onto a limb or push out towards the edge of something, it has a way of feeling precarious and leaning on others in order to get up the courage to move further out and along. It may seem almost like a natural thing to do. And I know for me, it happens a lot. Each new thing that I have going on, I have a tendency to just check in with my circle of friends and without being too needy, try to figure out what their take is on whatever it is that I'm proposing to have to undertake for myself in order to get some sort of a wider clarity on whatever it is that I'm trying to undertake. And sometimes I may just be looking for that little push of confidence, but I would rather be in a position where I did a little better job of it internally than I do. And so if you're anything like me and you see the value in building unshakable self-belief, then I'm sure that there'll be one or two takeaways from all of this that we'll be able to apply to whatever it is that we need to do next. Because borrowing confidence is like climbing a ladder with someone else holding it. You're only going to be able to climb as high as they allow you to. Just maybe. Better that we focus our time and effort into building our very own, a strong and a reliable staircase. That way we can climb at our own pleasure as high as we dare to. Because there's a lot that comes from getting yourself dependent on validation. Most of it's no good at all. How much would you be able to achieve if you stop waiting for somebody else to tell you that you're ready? Well, why is it that we rely on others for that sort of confidence? Could be the fear of failure. Seeking validation feels safer than trusting ourselves. Could be the habit of comparison, where we look towards others for benchmarks and for approval. And let's not forget social conditioning, which teaches us that external validation equals success. You know, there's a significant cost in allowing for all of that, and that limits your ability to be more because you're explicitly tying your confidence to the opinions of others, and that prevents you from trusting your own instincts or relying on your own abilities. Borrowed confidence, it may feel comforting, but keeps you tethered to other people's perceptions. If it is that you're hiking through a forest at dark with your friend and they have a flashlight and you come to rely on the light that they're providing, and all of that is well and good so long as they are there with you, accompanying you through the dark. So doesn't it behoove you to just get your own flashlight? You know, I know none of this is easy, but what would you change if you trusted yourself completely without needing any kind of a reassurance? You know, it all starts somewhere, and how you start to get yourself better in line or better on track is to focus on one or two decisions that you have in front of you, make them as well considered as you can, and use them to prove that you can rely on your own judgment. Also, don't let yourself forget the things you've done in the past that were genius and instilled in you the confidence that's brought you this far. Yeah, you can't forget the moments where trusting yourself paid off, and then start to practice consistency. Follow through on your commitments to yourself. The reason why self-trust matters is it strengthens your ability to take risks and to manage them. When you're wavered like a leaf, well, you're not really good for much. And I'm only saying that because we've all been there, I'm sure, in the ups and downs of it. But you know what I'm saying exactly. You're far better to get your heels dug in, let yourself move with that kind of resolve of being positioned, far more so than you could ever be if you're wavering and just blowing in the wind. Trusting yourself, it doesn't imply that you always know you're right. But what it is that you know you can handle the outcome no matter what it is. You can only build a bridge laying one plank at a time, but little by little, you create a sure-footed path. So if you find yourself constantly asking for reassurance before making decisions, hesitating to act without any kind of external validation, and feeling overly terrified about making any kind of a choice at all, it's probably time to take a look at yourself and start to do a little work. You can start by redefining your success, aligning it with what's important to you, rethink of what it is that you're trying to do in order to detach it from outcomes where you thrive in the effort and the process rather than any sort of expectation of what may come of any of it. At times, it's not easy. Things have a way of snowballing out of control. control, and you can start out being so confident, brave, and resolved, and just have one thing after another hit you. You're standing there punch drunk, not knowing which end's up. So I get it, and I'd be lying to say that I haven't been dealing with this my own self in these last few weeks. And while things have been upside down for me, with being overwhelmed with knowing what it is that I can do that would be the most effective way to grow my reach, and I stand there feeling dizzy, it all comes back to just remembering that I've waited all this time to be positioned to give this all a go, and I owe it to myself to have some fun in the process of doing it, to enjoy it, even if it's a challenge. So every day I do my best to try to redefine it to myself in a way where my expectation of what it is more aligned with reality, and so that way I can continue to be persistent, just with a better framework. I'm not saying I'm good at it yet, but I'm here to not only be encouraging, but to say it out loud, and in order to be held to account. So I'm going to hold you to account as well, and we're both going to strive to work towards what we need to. You keep your head up, and I'm going to keep my head up, and if you haven't had a chance to hear my new song, you can listen to it here. We'll talk again soon.